Good morning. Good morning. I hope you're doing great. Lots of beautiful names. Let me just have all the participants. Joseph, Michael, Eduardo, Alex, Eskim, Gomam, Kevin, Maria, and Sean. I hope you're doing great. If there is any concern, any question, yes, please, Joseph.
Professor, I wanted to ask for next semester for programming too, does that entail C# but just the advanced version of it, or is it a different language that is going to be taught?
No, that's a very good question. It's going to be the continuation till this moment that I know, continuation of C#. And in programming 2, what they concentrate on would be object-oriented concept.
Okay.
So, and today actually be a little bit of the concept, and that's part of the course outline. And then right after that, yeah, after object-oriented concept, they're gonna bring you to the GUI, graphic user interface, kind of completing the topics that we have talked in programming 1 and 2, plus you're going to spend 3 sessions on a topic called artificial intelligence using C#.
Okay.
Most people think that the to-go language for artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and these kind of things is just only Python. Actually, that is not far from the truth, but that's not the only option. That's what I thought before teaching actually programming 3, that they changed the course outline. Then I was like, oh, what the heck? Should I just learn something that I'm not going to use it? Surprisingly enough, when I started learning about C# and machine learning, I found it quite interesting. And the reason for that is one of the things that we do to find models, I just quickly tell, I hope that more people are going to join before I start talking about the major part of today's plan. One of the things that we do is to create a model as best as possible in artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, you name it. For doing that, we have some parameters that are in our hands to manage. We call them hyperparameters. I repeat it, the parameters that we can change ourselves to make the model the best, we call them hyperparameters. That is kind of, job of data scientists, data engineers to go around, play around with the parameters to make them as best as possible. And it takes quite large portion of the project. The funny part is when you learn, you're going to see in C#, that is the task of environment to provide the set of hyperparameters, going through them and find the best parameters for you. So C# is going to give you faster, more reliable compared to the other environments, and surprisingly useful package for AI. Many parts can be done only using GUI. I'm sure that you are going to enjoy those two. I didn't want to emphasize to tell that I realized that for the summer I don't have any schedule at Centennial at the moment, and one of the thing is completely understandable. Mostly full-time people at Centennial, they have the course workload, and then if there's anything, they're gonna just give to part-timers. I already have one full-time job, so that's why I'm sure that the next person, and that's kind of good to tell you the truth, that you learn something from one person, you're gonna go to another coach, they're gonna tell you differently, and that's quite good. But this is not the end of our kind of communication, and definitely I'll be accessible if there is any question, anything. I'm gonna share my, I don't know, sometimes it happens that they lock the access, but I'm gonna share my other contacts that if there is any question, any concern, you can just ask and we will be in touch.
Thank you.
No worries. Yeah, I'm gonna just type it here. sreza.debug@gmail.com. Why this Farsi? sreza.debug@gmail.com. And I'm in LinkedIn as well. Let me just quickly go through this on LinkedIn. Right, and LinkedIn slash. Okay, there we go. And there's one thing, actually, and that's an opportunity for me to have less workload to work on videos that I wanted always to create. Hopefully, for instance, for database and for Tableau, I always had that in my mind to create a short video from A to Z Tableau, and it's not going to take more than 90 minutes maximum that you can just feel. And I'm going to provide all the materials inside GitHub, so you can just have the files too. Anyway, let's get back to the things that we have for today. I'm going to create an announcement. And based on that announcement, I'm going to explain, I want to include more people into the list that I have. I quickly just share one thing with you. There is a group of people that I already had a session with, and I don't need to evaluate them again. And I can tell you those names, or they were very much active in the class all the time. So because of all these things, actually, I'm going to provide a list of names that they don't need to have one-on-one session with me for the final test, for test number 3. Please just be patient to receive that list. I can already tell you the metrics that I have chosen to say who's going to be in the exam. I'm sorry, just give me a second. Yes, in the one-on-one exam, and who can just, open the questions and start working on them. The questions are slightly different, but they are the same level of difficulty. I want you, please, just as a test, open this link that I'm gonna give you. Can you please click on this link? Actually, I already asked, I should say, my colleague Michael to help me through that, to make sure that if everything works fine there. So it passed the initial test. Thank you, Michael. Definitely, I'm going to delete Michael's name from here just for the sake of, yeah. In an empty part, please write your name, and you're going to see everybody in an empty net part. Please write your name. Okay. The thing is, it shows who is typing what or who is in which location, right? Tobias, stay in one place. So you see that people can just, I mean, and types, Alex, type your name, please. Okay, you see that we could have those things. Okay, now, Joseph, can you please overwrite on top of Alex's name? Yeah, so the way that you see, there's a chance that, but there's a log, it takes time for me to detect who override the others. What we are going to do is, these are the spots. I'm gonna share the link later. So this is for next week, and this is for a week after. You see that in total, we have 24 spots for people to just put their names. At the same time, I'm going to have 3 monitors. One at a time, I'm going to just make it, make the video and sound on to talk, to communicate with those people that they are doing the exam. So feel free to choose. Most of the people that they are now in the session, if not all, they are those that they don't need to listen to this part. But I'm recording, and in the announcement, I'm gonna let everybody know that from this moment till this moment, you can just watch the video that I'm explaining what to do. So what you're going to do, you're going to just place your name, last name, and last 2 digits in the time slots that you have. And immediately after that, take a screenshot, very simple. Just go to this thingy tool and then have a screenshot and send it to me. The reason for that is, actually, this is the whole screen. Let me just make it. That is acceptable to you. You are going to send it immediately to me. The reason for that is the test that we have already did. You see that it is possible somebody override the others info, and it is hard for me to trace the log and see who did what. So in that case, if Joseph already got this spot and somebody overwrites Joseph's name, I'm gonna deduct 10 marks for the last test from that person, okay? They can just do it, but that's the penalty that they have. Does that make sense? Is it fair? Okay, so whenever it is already filled, please do not. And the other thing is, guys, do remember that you were kind to participate actively in the class. I'm not gonna go to details, but guys, do you see these names? For instance, Michael, Eskim, Alex, Kevin, Adewale, Joseph, and so on and so forth. This is for another session. This is for another session, okay? The things that we see here is going to help us to tell. I can just quickly tell you, Alex, Michael, Joseph, Goma, Kevin, Adewale, Maria, Eskim, Farhina, and Klena are not in this list. You don't need to register. I'm going to announce the full list of names that people who do not need to reserve. You can just, in either of these weeks, just show up in the session. I'm gonna share with you the last test, and there is no one-on-one session. For instance, the reason for that is Helena in test 2, I spent 1 hour with her, and I saw that the way that she approaches the questions, and that was enough for me to understand who does what. Is it clear, everybody, for this one? I think that I answered your question. I'm talking about the private question. Don't worry. So just the announcement is going to happen today. Is there any confusion, or everything is super clear?
So just to double check, Reza, if your name is not on the list, like if you're not putting your name on the list, you could just show up on Saturday, April 12th, and so on, and then just do the test when
Okay.
you show up.
Before having that question, my initial intention was just mentioning the names that they shouldn't. So we are going to have two lists based on your question. First, I just wanted to show those who do not need to be, and you're one of them. Those two people, those two groups, you can pick come next week or a week after. And the reason for that is I want to have more rooms for people that first we have a kind of nice setting. I check their the way that they answer the questions and so on. For those who do not need to be in one-on-one session with me, the only thing that we need to do is actually showing on time 9:30. I quickly explain the stuff, and then you're gonna start working on your own, and like test number one. Is it clear? Okay. So based on that, if you don't mind, I already just delete the names that they don't need to be. Maria, Michael, Joseph, and Alex. So you can just, yeah, just show up in, that's pretty much what it is. Okay, apart from that, we have something that the quiz. I'm going to provide a quiz which is going to be from the beginning of the semester all the way to the end of semester thing, and it has just 5 marks, so the mark is not an issue and it's not important. What really matters is to give an opportunity for us to review the things before coming to the exam, to feel that I'm fully prepared. And please use that as the, what do we call it? As a way to finally test your knowledge before getting to the exam. We are going to have the last assignment, which is going to focus on reference, out, and random, which is going to be a small number of questions and just reviewing the things that we learned today. Apart from that, I provide a package for you. Most of you don't need that, and that is a review package. And if we go through that, you see, I have which one is this? This is 4. Just please give me a second. This is 2. And this should be 1 if I'm not mistaken. So you see, we started from a very basics. That is gonna be a kind of way to success. There are people like Reza who didn't have enough time during the semester and want to have a way to successfully pass the test. So what would be the way that I can just be confident that I'm going to be able to pass this test? There is one file I have provided and you already can access, and that is a review. I have talked about each topic. For instance, the first part, part A, is going to be about data types, the W3 schools, and relevant YouTube videos that you can just watch. Let's just quickly see that. This is the video that covers, for instance.
Hey, welcome to Draft Academy. My name is Mike. In this tutorial, I'm going to talk to you guys about data.
Very quick, very right to the point. And then after that, you go and find the basic questions relevant to that. The next topic, the next topic, the next topic. But for somebody who just wants to pass, I think that if Reza didn't do anything during the semester, 20 hours to 30 hours would be enough to think that I can pass the course. I'm not saying to be expert. These are the tests, the questions that you can just prepare yourself. You don't need to submit anything. And these are just to review. I'm gonna provide that review package for success by tonight. And I'm going to quickly, very briefly mention the note about that. So these are everything that I could do. Let me just go to questions. Maria asked us, so do all of us are not on the list coming the regular class? Yes, I'm going to mention that, Maria, as well in the announcement. Those that I already mentioned, including you, you just need to show up at 9:30 and submit your, thanks. Michael, yes, definitely. You can use your notes, you can use Google, you can use Stack Overflow. What we cannot use is generative AI. And the other thing that we cannot use apart from generative AI is communicating with someone else through any media like chats, email, and so on. I didn't want to speak about that, but in my entire teaching period in Canada, I never filled the form for Bridge of Integrity, except what happened recently. So first time I did that, and I'm very happy that I did that. And I quickly tell you the story about this one, and I have very much concern about this. My concern is not to tease anyone, but to make sure that whoever goes to the next level, they have enough knowledge. And sure, Alex, we were supposed to keep it secret. Okay, so let's just quickly tell you that that I showed that, hey, I embedded something in my questions to make sure if somebody just dump the thing, and that was a session that the chair of the vice chair was there, I was there, and someone, imagine from another college, was there too. And I said that, hey, I embedded something to make sure that if someone just dump the question there, it's going to just show up. And honestly, before that, I had several similar cases that people came to me from the approach that Reza, the lesson is learned. I'm not gonna do that again. And I said that no need to further explanation. Let's find a constructive way to grab the best, to get the best out of the current semester that we have together. And that's the intention that I'm here, right? Repeatedly having denial, and I was frustrated that you see that this is the way and you see the result, emphasizing, no, I just search into the internet and those. I was like, okay, at any cost, I don't want to be the one who bring one unprofessional person go up the ladder. This is the last thing that I want to tell you guys. You have seen people in Canada when they graduate, they have a ring. engineering ring. Have you ever seen that? Michael, have you ever seen that? Okay, just search. That is funny. If you search, you're going to see one professor is talking about that. And I want to tell you something quick about this ring, the importance of that ring. We had a bridge of Montreal almost 100 some years ago. Yeah, some 100 years ago, 100 and some years ago, they intended to make a bridge, a Montreal bridge, and a famous United States American engineer designed it. And that person, I'm sorry to use the word, that person was that much arrogant, who never came to the site and remotely designed the things. The result of the first attempt was killing, I use this word, was killing, murdering 7 workers in the middle of making the bridge. The bridge collapsed, and that caused that disaster. They used the same engineer, unfortunately, the same approach. They finished the bridge, and now it was the time that the first train goes over the bridge. And this time, 150 some innocent people, including some laborers, they lost their lives. They were assassinated by the engineer and those who just. That is why they melted the bridge. Left over, made those rings, and still they do that to always remind us as people who live in Canada that we have responsibility. We need to have knowledge, because if you think that you have less responsibility compared to those physicians, doctors, think twice. We hear the buildings collapse, the crane make casualty that happened a few years ago in Canada. We see that the bridges that collapsed down in one of the countries in Asia killed 7 people. So when we think that, we see we are not less responsible. That is why I very much care and concern about what I'm doing. And I am sure that professional people that I see in the list, and I'm telling all the names, they are the same. If I mention you in the list that I need to have one-on-one session, guys, please don't get me wrong. It just shows that I was not fortunate to have a session with you and evaluate you the way that I know about, for instance, Michael, Goma, and the other friends that I had more chance to discuss. That is it. Is there any concern or question? If not, thank you very much. By the way, if you ask questions in the chat part, I'm gonna get back to it later. What are we gonna do today? You remember in the last session, what we actually covered was arrays and the way that we deal with this data structure. The next thing that we want to start working on would be the scope, as well as ref and act. I just quickly open these two. You remember, just to jog our memory, we talked about the scope, that if they are within a method, for instance, if they are in the class level global, that anyone can access it. If it is in one method, for instance, or if it is within a loop, for instance, inside a method. So that is why we say global, local, and then we have block level. We just saw where we can access them or not. We have a ton of example today that we can get to that. But before getting any further, the last major topic would be reference and out. What is reference, you may ask? How about this? instead of explaining, I want you to experience that. Everybody, please make sure that either online version or Visual Studio is open. You remember we talked about different things that we learned. Just a quick review. We said we have sequential type of going through the program from A to B, from B to C, and so on and so forth. After that, we learned conditions. If something happens, go to right, else go to left. And another way that we dealt with programs is doing something repeatedly. So if we know the number of iterations, the best approach is using for loop. If we want to do something as long as one condition is valid, we are going to use while or do while. And the other thing is method that we have already worked with it. And if you want to say what is the difference between using method and just copy and paste the code, is reusability and showing that you are a professional person. And methods are the gate to know about object-oriented. So we are going to use methods a lot there. And let's just see, it is difficult to imagine a program without more than one method. Actually, we already have that main method as the first and the most important one. Whether we see it or in top-level statements, we don't. It gives you confidence that your application has minimum errors, so your code would not break easily. It's an integral component of object-oriented paradigm. So main is a platform that you sit in most serious languages, and when I say most serious languages, I'm addressing to something like C#, Java, C++, and so on. In some places like R and MATLAB, that they have the structure of programming, but they're not like very serious programming environments. We don't necessarily see the concept of main. Even in Python, which is not fully object-oriented approach of programming, you see, if you want to write a serious program, you need to have main. This is the first time that we start talking about object-oriented and constructors. Guys, in C#, whenever you see that inside a class, I repeat it, everybody, you remember that we had a concept that they had class program like this. If you see that there is a method, that the name of the method is similar to the name of a class, then that specific method is constructor. Is it clear? So if we have a method and the name of that method is similar to a class, we call that method constructor. Constructor does not return any value. So it's not going to say, for instance, void int or something as the return thing. If you see there is a method that, someone has forgotten to define a return value, and the name is similar to the name of a class, that's not method, that's constructor. What is the role of constructor, you may ask? Let me quickly just show you something. Actually, I just decided to a little bit expand the concept and not, yeah. Please give me a second and I see if it is how to work with inheritance. Hopefully this one, please. Let's see. If not, yeah. Guys, the thing is, the class is nothing but a blueprint, something like this. But the object is what you create based on the class. So this is an object, this is a beautiful object, and this is a layout or the blueprint or plan of that. Does that make sense? listen to this part. What is the other blueprint that you, what is the blueprint that you have for cars? I'm going to answer that question. It's a little bit soon, but exactly we have it today. I'm going to cover that when we talk about random, if you don't mind. Okay. Guys, just listen to this example. And actually, that is a valid example. That's actually what happens. I don't know if any one of you wants to lease or finance or buy a car recently, for instance, from Toyota or what is the other one? Subaru. The thing is, if you go there, they're gonna tell you that, hey, we don't have, this car is now on ship, and this car is in the factory in Japan, and it takes 4 months, 6 months to get that. The fastest is the one that we already have. The color is white. There is no specific option. We have 2 of them, and that you can apply. What does it mean? It means that if you want to define and design something, say that, hey, I want this interior, I want that color, I want that feature, they say that, hey, you have to wait for 6 months. Does that make sense? Guys, forget about object-oriented. Can you relate to that? Okay, constructor is going to make the plan in a kind of default shape based on the things that we have in constructor, right? And make it available for you. And if you don't define anything, there would be a default constructor, but you can't modify that initial things. That is constructor. Constructor means I created something for you, just you have something, and that is built by factory, not your intervention. In other words, when we have constructor means that I have a plan, I'm going to occupy memory to create one object based on that plan by default things. That is constructor. Does that make sense? Alex, you look like, hey, Reza, what are you talking about? I can't relate to that. Look at this one. We have a name of a class here, right? We create 2 things out of it. This is a very simple example. Let me just bring you a little bit down here into something like this. Do you see the name of a class? That is, guys, that is Python, but you can relate to that. Do you see a name of a class here? Everybody? Okay. In Python, the funny thing is the constructor is something that you define like any other methods, but the name is dunder, init, dunder, and the rest. Does that make sense? Just see that I say I'm going to have a name, I'm going to have width, height, and depth for that box. Everybody could relate to that. And I'm going to say, hey, these are the default values, like no name, and all those measurements are equal to 0. Okay, this is the default value thing for them. Does that make sense, Alex? If I say that, create a box, and I don't, let me just show you one thing here. Where is the thing? Let me just make this simple, like no hidden things here. And I'm gonna run that, and I'm gonna create one. My box is equal to box, and I pass nothing into it. And I say that my box dot height, what do you think it's going to show? 0, default value. Does that make sense? So guys, this is when you don't have time, you go to Toyota, the default values that are assigned there. Imagine that that's not named, that is color, and what we have is only white, right? Available. So in that case, if I say, show me the my box dot name, what do you think it's going to show? White. Okay. I have a plan. This is a plan. And in that plan, I have a constructor that is going to occupy the memory, and it's going to provide default values for that. Another example that I always tell to my students is, imagine that you have a plan to have a desk, and that desk has 4 drawers. If the drawers are empty, right, it is just a plan. But if you put some default values into each drawer, means that you have used a constructor to have something in it. I'm not saying that they are the ideal values that you wanted, but you have something there. Does that make sense? Guys, this is something that you are going to learn for 14 weeks. I just want you to have some pictures about it, because that was meant to just touch the concept in this session, not to be expert in it. Okay. If you remember Toyota and RAV4, when you deal with object-oriented, that's not for me. And these beautiful pictures. Let's get back to what we have in the rest of today's content. Look, after talking about the constructor and wow, Michael, what did you do? I'm gonna check the code later if you don't mind.
Okay, it's incomplete, but I was just trying to show. I guess there's a lot of extra stuff in there. I should have.
I'm gonna, if there's something that everyone, including me, can benefit from. Oh, where is it, Michael? Why we have? I'm sorry. Just let me bring from page 1. Do you want to explain? I'm gonna Control C, Control A, Control V. Do you want to explain?
Yeah, I was just trying to show, because you were talking about the constructor, same name class. So a lot of all this extra stuff inside we can just kind of ignore. I just did a quick copy paste to grab the public and declaration. So,
Okay.
do you want me to explain? Okay. So when this class, when you use this class, the public main form, these items in here, or I guess you can't see, but the items in the public main form here, these get processed first, and then they get used inside the rest of the class. They're like, you need these items, the initialized.
Sorry to interrupt you. Can you talk closer to microphone? Apparently there is a little bit of issue.
Oh.
Sorry. Yeah.
Can you? Oh, I wonder if.
Yeah.
You hear me now?
Perfect. That's perfect now.
Oh, now my audio's gone. Okay, well, I'll keep talking anyway. So in the public main form, when you utilize the class main form, in this case, it's a Windows form, so it just kind of does itself. You don't actually have to call it or anything, but when
You're muted. Muted.
In the main form need to be muted.
You are muted for 15 seconds. Yes.
Oh. Okay. You can hear me now then. Okay. So again, this is just a Windows form, so you're not going to actually call this main form class. But when the program starts up, it does utilize the class, and the items in the main form, the public main form, they're required in the rest of the class. There'll be important functions or values that you need initialized to exist prior to utilizing the function they brought in.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
I hope that's okay.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much. And for Reza in the audience, if you didn't grab anything from the discussions that we recently had, do not worry at all. You're gonna spend a whole semester on it. It was just opening the door to what we are gonna learn in future. Thank you again, Michael, for sharing. And I'm going to go to the next, just close this, yeah. I'm going to, well, we talked about global, local, and block variables. I remember that we tried and we tested several examples, but let's just go, everybody try this. I'm gonna share that one with everyone here. Can you please try this? Before we go and try, guys, what would be the output in here? Is it going to be 10 or 1? What do you guess? Okay, bravo. And the reason for that is we said if we have several, Alex want to tease us today. Okay, so the thing is, whenever we have any variable, we are going to see who is the nearest one, which scope is the nearest scope for that variable, and for that one, it's the nearest, right? What if we don't have that, and then we try? Yes, you're gonna get 10 for sure, but because we don't have any local variable over there, right? Okay. So going to the next topic, here, this is something that we talked. We said this one works. Actually, this is something that we talked in the previous session as well, if you remember. We said, if you say in sum equal to 0 in here, and you run the code, yes, you can just have I value after getting outside the loop, which is going to be 5, but you have no way to say what is the value for sum, because sum is defined within a block. That's the block level variable. And the way that you can just handle that issue is just bring the sum outside, right? And now if I just bring I, then I cannot have that I value outside it. You know what I'm saying, right? So it really depends where you want to have the visibility of the variables, and then you're going to define the relevant scope for them. Okay, and this is, yeah, a correct version. And now we talk about call by value, well, reference versus value. This is a funny image that I always want to remember, call by reference and call by value. Look at this one. If we have call by reference, right, these two cups are gonna filled, it was like the same, but call by value means you have a copy of that, but the original one does not change, right? Michael, I'm sorry, I didn't grab your question. Can you?
So this method, the ref, it's very similar, like using var in all, like putting a var at the outside of all your blocks, and then like utilizing that var inside, right? Like it just seems very seems dangerous. Like it completely overwrites the original value, right? Like if it's used wrongly, then you could basically ruin your own program, right? Like
Yeah.
it just seems like a silly thing to create. Very dangerous.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. The thing is, this is something that people always, the expert advise that whenever make the scope of variables as limited as possible. That is the safest thing that you can do, right? So if you need I just to take care of the counter, the number of iterations of the loop, just keep it there inside the block. Outside that, you should say goodbye to that variable, right? If you make them all, there are two issues. As you said, it is dangerous and it drastically reduces the reusability of anything that we define, right? That's absolutely correct concept. Yeah, excellent. So moving forward, using this example, I want all of you, I encourage all of you, please copy that. And you're gonna, as always, you're gonna have, and today you're going to have a zip package, the final version of all-in-one. So can you please, before running the code, just by looking at the lines, tell me, we have int var equal to 5. Definitely this is going to show you 5. That is no question. We all know that. Then we are going to call a method, right? And in that method, I get a value and I double it. And then, well, definitely it's going to be 10. This is nothing that I need to worry about. But the whole question goes back to this one. Is it going to show now A is 5 or A is 10? Can you please just share your guess? Without running. Okay. So everyone says that here it is going to show 10, right? Okay, let's just see what is gonna happen. As you see, it is going to say 5, 10, 5, but let's discover why. At the beginning, we know that we have a COP. 5 is inside that COP, right? Then we are going to show that value. Then this is the important part. Getting back to this picture. Whenever you use just a variable, you're going to copy it. And then if you change anything, it's going to change the copy of that original value. The original value stays intact. We don't have any reference to that. Here in the code, actually, we just provide a copy. We place it there. And this method is going to work with a copy of that value. If you change it, it's going to change. The change happens on the copy of the original, not the original. Does that make sense? So that is why it's going to be 5. Inside here, it's going to be 10. And here, it's going to say, wait, 5 again, because original value. Okay, let's go to the next example. How can we say, hey, I want to not to have the copy, but the original one? Very simple. Look, the only difference that we have, I intentionally bring it here. It's going to show some squiggly line because of the repetition. But anyway, do you see when I want to call that function, I'm going to just use one thing, ref. And here in definition, we are going to just say ref. That's some people forget using it once. If I just use this one here, you see that the squiggly line would show up there. And now look at the difference. It's going to be 5, 10, and 10 because we didn't work with the copy. We work with the original value. We work with the original value. It is just the duplicate of the original. Anyway, I want you to change the code that I sent you to make it call by reference. And if the change happened and the result is what we see here, please type 1. Thank you. Okay, merci. Let's go to the next question together. Okay. I want you to, here is the whole code. And here we are dealing with something which is called overloading. And right after this, we are going to have a 10 minutes break. So I want you to spend a few seconds. Just read this. And then we are gonna explain it together. You have the code, so please start working on it. If you don't mind, I'm gonna randomly choose some beautiful names to explain this code. If you don't feel for any reason comfortable, just type pass. And I'm gonna ask the other person. I want to learn from 2 of our awesome participants. What is happening in these 2 methods and this main method? Toby, can you please give me a hand and explain that? Okay. Okay, Farhina, do you want to open the mic, say something about this? You can just say pass as well. Okay, Sean, how about you?
Hi, yeah. So I see 2 functions, but in the same name. So I've heard about overload before. So is that the same thing? So when the int number being input, it will considering about these 2 functions, and if it is int, it will go to the first one, and it is the other one, it will go to the other function.
Okay, perfect. Shohan, thank you. And how about Sean? Pretty close to your name, but slightly different.
Oh, that's not my name.
Well, actually, that's perfect. I learned something from you. I'm gonna continue my education. This time, okay. Actually, you are pretty close to the list, Shohan, to the list of no need for being in the one-on-one session. Okay, so how about this? Anyone else who wants just helping this old guy explaining this code, please? Yes, Alex.
Sure, I'll give it a try. We'll go line by one. So we have a class that's called program. And then within this class, we have three methods. We have our main method, which states that initializing a number first, integer called number, which is equals to 10 right now. And then we have a console write line command, which writes the value of the number before calling the normal method is 10. And then we have a call for a method that's called add number. And what we're passing through it is the number 10. So if we're going inside the odd number method, we
Sorry to
see.
interrupt you, Alex. Maybe I ask simple questions, but I'm confused. We have two actually methods name. Both of them are add numbers. So
Right.
poor guy, how can this poor guy understand that we have to use this one, this one?
So one of them is a reference and one of them is the actual value. So the second one in the passing where it says a reference,
Uh-huh.
it wants to pass a reference instead of a value. So from what I understood, it would pass a copy of the number. So if we had the number, for example, 11 after the first method, it will pass 11 instead of 10, the original number.
So let's get back to just this part. So you are saying that here we have, yes, it is correct that we have two methods. Both of them are add numbers, but one of them mentioned int number, the other one said ref int number. By saying that, it means these two are going to be distinguished based on the signature that they have. If we do not use ref, this guy knows which method to choose. This is without ref, called by value. But the second one that we mentioned ref, which one is closer to the signature that this one is the one. So it knows where to go based on. So we understand that if we have two methods, 2, 3, whatever, the number of methods, and that they are similar in names, but they have different signatures, and by saying different signatures means the number or the type of variables that we are going to pass to those methods, it is going to find the one which is matched with their signature, right? So in that case, for the first one, when we say number here, look, as Alex correctly said, for the first one, first it is 10. We pass it to the function, this one, inside the function, it is saying that the value of number inside the method is 11 because we added. But when we get outside that, it was just a copy. The original value would stay intact and it's going to say again 10. Am I right? Because the original value is intact. Alex, bravo. Well deserved to be. And guys, when I'm talking about, I count on many of you. And when I stuck in somewhere, believe it or not, for instance, last night I was like, who can help me? I was like, okay, Michael. So just let's ask Michael for the help. And yesterday, Michael, I was in the office. I didn't have any course anywhere, but I locked myself inside the office working for 10 hours or something, even more, on one simple topic. And I'm gonna share that with you. And honestly, you might laugh, but I was thinking that if Michael was around, I could just ask Michael that what is your opinion about these things. I'm gonna share 2 videos with you just to let you know what, and one of them I could, out of 35 minutes, correctly and successfully, I could go through the first 27 minutes of it. But guess what? It just, yeah, this is the one that I could, and this is another version which is quite Control C. Michael, I'm going to share with everybody. Yeah. And this is another version.
What that looks like. So we'll let an evaluation run, and then we're going to go with.
Okay, this is another version, which is at your convenience. Just watch it. There's a competition that the students are gonna participate in, and I wanted to set up. There's a limited number of hours, 10 hours for the students. But after that, they have to pay. This is kind of implementing locally without any need for paying. So do not get surprised that in future, if you receive my email, Alex, Joseph, for sure, Michael, that, hey, what are your opinions about these things? So I count on you as my colleagues. And now I want another brilliant, yeah, Joseph, please help me out with this one, with the second one. The first one, Alex completed. So how about this?
So I think it's pretty much doing the same thing, but it's taking taking the original but referencing that, right? And it splits it between add number num and add number reference num.
Lovely.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much the same thing, but you're adding reference so that it distinguishes between the two.
Excellent. Lovely. What I learned from Joseph saying that this part is the same as what it was, so it's going to show you the original value that we have there. But this time, because we say add num ref num, it's going to find this one because the signature is aligned with that. So it's going to get the number, add one, but this time it's not going to add to the copy, but the original value. So that's for this one, it's going to be 10, 11, 11, right? So if you just see it again, it's going to be, yes, 10, 11, 11, the way that you see there. Okay. By saying that, we are already done all the way to this. We are at the beginning of out. And let's go for a 10-minute break. How about this? Thank you. See you after 10 minutes. Okay. Michael, did you have a chance to look at the thing that I shared?
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah. I was it reminded me of a LinkedIn post talking about using video games for AI training.
True.
So yeah, it's pretty I mean, it's good. It shows I mean, if you watch the video showing the race car and how it's training itself to try and stay on the road, it's too bad that he has to write the car off every time he makes a mistake. But yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah, actually, that is funny. I recently got informed, when I'm saying recently, like almost a month ago, that I'm responsible for this. Well, not they asked me based on volunteer things, but when that is your first year being a full-timer in one place, any offer means that you have to, but and well, the thing is, that was interesting. I started the first time, and that is quite interesting for other friends, what I'm sharing about the AI and our knowledge. I started training the model by just a little bit of tweaking the parameters, hyperparameters here and there, and I got 16 seconds. The world record is 7 seconds and something.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and the second time, I just got a kind of risky approach just after tweaking a little bit of parameters, and there is an algorithm called reward function, and a reward function to simplify it, it is nothing but saying good dog, bad dog. When you want to train a model to say get reward for this move and penalize when it doesn't do the right thing. And by just that change, it reduced to 13 seconds. Then I said, okay, now it's time to see how how our friends, ChatGPT, Claude, Mistral, all of them. I just set an army of those counselors asking each step, what are the parameters, what are the things that I need to, and they talked too much about every single things. I just summarized them all and I applied it, and guess what? It turns to 21 seconds. I was like, oh no.
Wow.
And that is why I'm saying that there are people that they think that ChatGPT is going to make miracle. That never happens. There are things that you work and you see that they don't have any answer for still, and especially if you be expert in one part, you see you can use their help here and there, but if you think that you can just rely from A to Z, still you're not there. And I think it takes time. So if
We
somebody,
don't want, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I'm not muted.
Oh, don't worry. If you think that if somebody discourages you that, hey, you're learning how to develop, now everything is automated thanks to ChatGPT. Remember just these examples. If anyone wants to be replaced, guys, computer sector and people like us would be the last in the line. So just trust your knowledge, work, and just make it deeper and deeper, and you're gonna stay. We are here to stay.
Hopefully.
Yeah, you
Hopefully.
wanted something? Okay, so let's go and see what is happening here using out. I'm gonna just copy this code for you. Here it is. And yeah, let's go to here saying this. Look at the things that we have here. This is simple, not very much complicated. Spend a few seconds.
I had a quick question about this. I obviously I looked at it last night, but With the using the out, is it really best practice to specify those variables that are used that are outputted by the method? Is it really best practice to specify those outside of that? Like, you know what I mean? Like we're declaring area and volume, but then they also get used with the out, right? So is it pertinent to declare them? I don't think I'm saying it right. Should we do any declaration for the outputted variables? Radius we need, but then the other two are used by the out function, right? Or is this one different?
Still, I didn't talk about out, and actually the purpose of this is getting there. And if you don't mind, I'm gonna share my opinion for sure, Michael. But after just a few practices, and I want everybody to step in and share their ideas. But this is something pretty recent that they added to languages, and I'm going to explain based on my understanding why. And if it is best practice or not, I think that we both share the same opinion, but I'm going to explain after. Okay. So anyone wants to, apart from famous names, like, yeah, anyone wants to step in and explain, please just type your name or just type one, and I'm gonna ask you. Just give me a second. So. Any volunteer? Okay, Eskim, please.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear, please.
Okay. So here we have three methods: the main, the calculate area, cal area, and the cal volume or cal vol. So the first is the main. So we have three variables for double, which is radius is equal to 1, the area and the volume. So we ask the computer to print the line with variable radius, and then call the next method, which is cal area with the parameter radius, and then we run the cal area method using the math pi times the variable radius times radius, and we return the value and put it to the line 9, and then the next is that line calls the method cal vol, and then pass the variable radius to that method, and then calculate the v using the 4 times math.pi times r times r times r, and then return the v variable and printed it to the line 9 together with other uh, variables and uh, result of the methods. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Merci. Based on the things that I learned from Eskim, in this program, we have two methods. One is cal area, and the other one is cal volume. The first method is going to calculate the area of a circle, while the second one is going to calculate the volume of a sphere. When we pass r as a radius, the first method is going to say pi multiply r, which is the formula that we learn in math. And if you don't worry, just search for the area of circle. We are going to just calculate that, and we store it in double A and return that value. In the second one, we calculate the volume, 3 R's multiply pi 4 divided by 3. You remember the formula, right? That was something that took me a heck of time to remember, but well, if you don't, you can just search. And this is going to be stored inside V. And the question is, would it be possible to actually combine these two? In that case, we should have a kind of return A, return V sort of thing. Let's see. The next thing that we actually learn is going to be the combination of these two. Guys, it is super simple. Instead of saying return A, return B, look at this one. This is the calculation of the area. This is the calculation of what? Volume, right? Michael, it's exactly the part that our discussion was about. We saw the previous one, 2 formula, and we thought that, okay, is it possible that we combine these two? So in that case, we need to have something like return A, return B. But look at this one. Here we are going to say we calculate A based on the radius that we are going to pass. We calculate volume, again, based on the radius that we are going to pass. But there is no sign of return. There is no sign of return here. And that is why you see that we say it is a void function. It's a void method. But the return happens in here. You're going to return, you say, I have a basket, and the result of the calculations carried out using this kind of format. So this is exactly like saying return A, return V, that kind of thing. Does that make sense? And why we have such a concept? Actually, in languages like Python, it is possible to have multiple outputs, multiple returns, saying, for instance, you calculate the volume, you calculate the area, you calculate, and you're going to say return A, comma, B, comma, C. But because we don't inherently have such concept inside C#, they brought it and form it this way. Does that make sense? But getting back to the question that Michael had, is this the best practice? My understanding is not. I try to avoid it as much as I can. And the reason for that is we expect a function, a method does only one job. And if you want to do two things, let's just simply do two methods instead of combining them into one. But I have seen here and there people use it. We need to know. And if you ask me that, Reza, can you come up with an example that you can't get away without using this feature? I can't tell you anything. Okay, so by saying that, you already have the whole code. I want you to spend 1-2 minutes, go through it. Mo, can you hear me? Mohammed Alwani?
Sorry, Reza, did you share this code in the chat? I don't see it.
Oh, I'm sorry. When someone sends private message, it automatically replies to that. My apologies. Thank you.
Yes, sir, I hear you.
Okay, just go through it and How about that? Explain it again for those who want to listen to a different version of explanation. Notes now after 1 minute. Thank you.
So what do you mean by out perimeter must be initialized in the comments here?
Can you please paraphrase and ask your question again?
Here in one of the methods, the call area volume method, in the comments it says out perimeter must be initialized for the formula. Don't really understand what that means. What do you mean by out perimeter?
But you want it to have a value so it can spit it out, right? If it doesn't have a value, then you're gonna have an error. So you must initialize your outs so that they have a value.
Like the radius equals to 1?
No, as Michael said, you know, we want to have something here. We want to return. Look at it like return. Just do not let these kind of frills puzzle us, baffle us. This is just nothing but saying return A, return B. In that case, we need to have values. It should be initialized. It should be we should come up with values for them to return them. This is returning A. This is returning B. As Michael said, if we don't have any initialization, it's going to raise error.
Yeah, I get that, but I just don't see how we initialized it in this code.
You're giving it a value. So A is your variable, and then you say it equals this, and that's your initialization, right?
Oh,
as soon as you provide a value, you're initializing it.
I thought initializing meant like you have to give a number for it, like a set number.
Nope,
Like,
just a value.
Yeah,
It
like
could
we
be anything you
initialized
want.
before
Yeah.
with I equals 0 type thing. That's what I thought it meant, but I understand that.
Oh, okay. Yep.
That's a very good question that I received. Sean is asking what are the differences between the ref and out. Well, we are going to have some more examples exactly focusing on the difference between them. And in the slide, I had 2 columns, one talking about this, one talking about the other. Apart from that, if we have a value in a class level, for example, and we want to apply a function like calculating a new rate for something, and you want to impact the original value, you use ref. You want to address the original value, you use ref. But out is when you want to have multiple returns. So there are 2 separate things. Getting back to the next question that I received in private and saying that out is not recommended or making a method that do more than one task is the only not recommended. Well, actually, we are saying the same thing when we have multiple outs, because your method technically does more than one job because it tries to bring more than one result, right? So I look at it as similar things, just different wordings, and it is not very much recommended. Keep your methods as simple as possible, okay? Here, one of the students saying that why we have radius equal to 1. You can just say 10. You can just say 100. You can say any of the values, right? This is just one example. And I was lazy, otherwise I should say, please enter the radius and then get it from the user and then start working. But just this part, as a comment type, Reza was lazy, just said radius equal to 10, okay? Okie doke. So if we just say 10, it is going to give us exactly the same results. Huh? So the volume is this. Okay, as you see, the radius is this, the area and the volume. And actually, if we go back to what we had without using out, it gives us exactly the same result, right? Again, you can pick any number for radius. Okay, so Mo, do you want to explain, sorry. Do you want to explain this for everybody?
Yes, sure. I'll try my best. Um, Here we are declaring the one variable. Then we are have the first method.
Okay, how about this? I know that the content is not, this is one of the advanced topics that we, and very new. So I'm gonna get back to you later, okay? So now let's both of us listen to Joseph's explanation.
All right, so we're giving the radius the value of 1, and we're also initializing area and volume. And then we're telling the system that we're going to be doing some sort of calculation before we even spit out the numbers, which is cal area volume, radius, and out area and out volume, which is the return that we're going to be getting. So then we're going to jump to line 13. And this is going to be where we're going to get the value for the formula, right? So we're going to have the radius. We're going to input the radius. Sorry, we're not going to input, but radius is part of the formula, and we're going to return A and V. So then A, with double A, the return is going to be math pi, which is pi times radius squared, radius times radius. And then the same for V. We're going to return for V 4 times pi, radius times radius times radius, divided by 3. And then that is going to be called into the console.write line. And then whatever, so the radius that we're going to be getting is the radius that we have on up top, yep. Right, and then the area, A is going to replace area, and then V is going to replace volume.
Lovely, lovely. I learned it thoroughly. Thank you very much. And Michael asked a very nice question. We are going to have some examples, which is going to elaborate a little bit. But before any further explanation, I want you to spend a few seconds and just go to this website, please. And just quickly go through the things that we have there. And I'm going to elaborate on that. And you see that here I'm saying more efficient way. I had a point.
One dude shows up. He looks scary. Sorry.
Don't worry. Oh, I was about to talk about your concern, your question. We are going to have some examples, Michael, and actually partially the answer would be there too. Toby, I would be thankful if you share your opinion, your code, so I can have a better understanding, right? Okay, so guys, look at this one. It has actually, based on the website, I borrowed it from there, so I brought it. And I want to tell you one important thing. Look, this is exactly here to bring the same message, but it is a simplified version of the top one. And the top one is just making the thing. I'm sure that the gentleman or anyone who, or the lady who, the engineer who designed that website, they were more knowledgeable compared to me, 100%. But knowing something is one topic. Being able to convey and bring the message to the audience is another thing. Look at this one. Now I can relate to this and I can understand it. It is saying that we initialize I value, saying that I is equal to 1. I'm going to show that value in here. Then I go to a method saying that reference integer ID, and I add that 1 to it. When I call the function saying I, guys, what are we going to pass to this one? Not a copy of I, but the original I, which contains 1, and I add 1 into it, and this one is going to show you what? 2. Does that make sense? Compare it to the initial things that we had over there, which I cannot easily understand what is happening. Let's look at the next example. That is why the efficient way is over there too. And this time I'm saying I'm using out, and let's compare these two. And Michael, partially, hopefully, this is going to reply your concern. Let me just bring the simplified version of the previous one too. Control V. Okay. Here, in the first example, we use ref. In the second example, we use what? We use out. This is exactly defining something. Let's just do one thing here. I'm gonna just say J, and sadly I have to man because it's going to change those guys to J and IDJ, IDJ. Let's just have these two. Whenever you want to out something, return something, as Michael said, you need to have a plate reserved for that before, like here. And then you're gonna toss it to that plate, to that container. Does that make sense? In that sense, it is like using a reference similar to that. Look at the structure of these two. I'm going to run. And the results would be, let's say here, 1 to make them, it is going to be J here, and it's going to be J. My apologies not to change the text. And the result would be exactly not identical because I didn't say +1. Oopsie. Sorry. Let's just say whatever I is, IDJ, just add +1, or let's say another value. This is the difference actually. This is the difference. Okay, guys, look at this one. In the first one, in the first example that we use ref, we have one variable that whenever we bring it here because of saying ref, we actually work with the original value. Whatever you do, for instance, changing the value, adding something into it, it is going to reflect in the original. In the second one, we have a container. That container initially has anything, or it can have nothing, like this. And then you're going to, the thing is, if we don't have any value there, the only problem is here I'm saying that please just show the value. It's saying that, hey, you don't have any default value or something. So that's the problem. But imagine that if I didn't have that request, it doesn't matter. Then I'm going to out in the place here the updated value, and it is going to just replace that original container. I want you to spend, this is the comparison of these two. I want you to spend 2 minutes working on them. And we are going to have a ton of more examples. Don't worry, we just started. This is a warm-up. Okay, Kevin, do you want to open the mic and explain this part? Forget about the J and what is happening in here. Can you please just explain the first part?
Oh, not a problem. Sorry about the noise in the background there, but we initialize the integer I equals to 1. Then we write the value of the I plus, and then which is going to come out as 1. Then we pass the reference of I, so we pass the address of I to the function. And then and in that function, we step that value up by 1. So we'll have a result of 2. And then we come back to the next right line, which prints the updated value of I. And then we have a value of 2. So you'll get a 1, 2 as the result based on that code.
That's beautiful. Actually, I very much love the background noise that you have. My mom grew up in a Kurdish part of Iran. She's Kurd. And I remember the time that when we wanted to have fun, she brought us to the family, to villages, and that was the best time of my life ever.
Yeah.
When first I heard that, I was like, wow, something brought me back to the days of my life. Okay,
Childhood.
thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kevin the Great. So anyone is volunteer to explain this part? Sean, how about that? Please step in. Oh, Adewale wanted to explain. Yes, Adewale, please.
Yeah, the main difference I notice about this second part is that we have a method that override the initial value of J. Not by adding to it now, but we just give it, assign it another value. So when we call the method, so it's going to give us the output we pass for J.
The thing is, and actually for a sec, I was confused and I confused myself. Look at this one. This is a return kind of thing. So you cannot do the calculations based on the things that you want to return. That's one important thing that we need to remember. The thing is, here we have a container. If you don't want to display, you don't need to put any value. But here I define a container, a variable. And as you said, Adewale, first, we are going to just show that what we have in the container initially. And after that, we are going to call this function, right? And we say we want to have, for instance, 2 in that IDJ, and we are gonna return that number 2, whatever it is. It is going to place inside where? Inside J, which there's a container already designed for that. And that is why in 2 examples that we had before, you could see we defined volume, we defined area, we had containers, and we just filled them with those 2 values. And I think that now, Sean, we could have better understanding of the differences of these 2. But my suggestion is, how about that? Don't you want to start explaining these 2 once again, and then just quickly go through these 2, and then side by side and actually, thanks to your question, I brought a new challenge into the code that I'm going to share. But do you want to step in or pass for now? Okay, I see that.
So, Professor, just to simplify this even more for the simple-minded, right? If you could just go back, if you could do Control Z just to show you. So again, the ID that you have, we could just change it to I if you wanted to simplify how we look at it, and it would give us the same output. I know it will, right? It's just the naming of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Like I don't have to have IDJ. I could just have it just the same as J that I initialized to 1. Okay, got it. That's it. It was just the simple question. Thank you.
No worries. Actually, we have something that Michael said. So, Michael, do you want to say anything about it?
So yeah, I just wanted to show how we can like basically how it's kind of working. As you see, I've got G up in the top, but I've got J in the bottom, right? So it's I just wanted to point out like inlining the variables and how it give a better view of the return portion of it.
Yeah. Actually, what I very much like about the code here is instead of saying int, hey, come on, don't int g, for example, and then saying out g. What Michael did, he combined these two in one place, right? So you actually create a container within the time that you call the function. So you technically provide that container within the time that you call this. It could happen. I very much like, and actually I deserve to be in that category, Joseph, more than anyone else. The simple mind. So int g, for me, it is more understandable. This one is more professional, the way that Michael did, right? So to combine those two in one line, but actually this is a simplified version of that. Any other thing that you want to add, Michael, or anyone else?
No, I'm okay right now.
Okay, perfect. So let's go to the next attempt together. So we covered, yeah, almost all of these things. And now let's go to this one. Oh, it's 11:30. We are just 10 minutes behind the schedule, but we are gonna get. So named arguments. Everybody, I want you please just contemplate for a few seconds on this code, and I want a brave person to step in, say what you understand. Okay, to the interest of time, if you don't mind, I try, correct me if there is any mistake. We have a method definition here. We say, let's get number of courses and let's get cost. And then we're going to multiply these two to know how much we should pay, for instance. For the first one, I'm going to say fees is equal to, I pass just two values. Definitely 5 is for number of courses, and this one with decimal points is the cost. Next one, what actually happens, I don't need to define fees again. I just update the value. This time I'm going to say, hey, look, number of courses, (5). I emphasize costs, (5 for 9.99), and it does the same job. The last one, actually, this is something that we rarely use, is just swapping the values. And that happens when you have a function that receives many input values, has many parameters. And you want to say, hey, you don't need to remember which one comes first. You can use the way that you want, the iteration that you want. So I just said, you know what? I want first tell cost, then say number of courses, and it gives the same thing. So nothing new here. And we can just safely go to the next one. Okay. What about this one? Look at this. Here, I say, if I say 5, comma, for instance, 100, I expect to have 500, and that's what I'm going to see. for the fees, no doubt. But what if I don't mention any value, and that is going to pick the default value that you have, right? And this is going to be like this one. And imagine you might say that, Reza, how about this? If I don't say, it means that the student got, that is something that when you go to Food Basics, Loblaws, No Frills, they're going to use something similar to that. When you scan something, the default number of values is 1, unless that you manually change it to, for instance, or using those guns to just say that, okay, dig several times, right? Or just manually just enter the value. So we see that we have that kind of thing, and that is going to, if I don't pass anything, it considers that one number and the cost is going to be that amount. But the question is, what if I say 100? If I say 100, is it going to consider that I have 100 courses that they cost this, or they're going to say I have 1 courses that costs 100, right? Definitely, Michael. Bravo. So the thing is, look at this one. Exactly as Michael said, it is going to consider 100 courses, but that was not what I wanted, for instance. Look at this. If I get rid of that thing, do you see that it raised error now? Because of that confusion, first, it is going to apply this for the first default value, then the second, then the third. So that is why whenever you want to define default values, they should start from the last, and then the second last, and then the third last, and so on. That is why if you miss something, it is going to just start from left to right. Is it clear for everybody? Why not saying 100? Why not saying 1 course $100 instead of saying 100 course this amount, right? Exactly, the nullable comes last. Yeah. Okay. By saying that, we actually covered, and I have provided some more examples. If still you think that, and this one I very much like it, it is extensively explained. The program is, this one I rarely use, but the explanation was great. And I checked all the links, and I updated already. By saying that, now we go to random. And again, I have the slides here. One thing that we see, what is an object? I'm going to quickly read that for you. We just touched the concept today. Do you remember that when we said we have a plan, we create a building based on that? Let's just read it quickly to review the things. An object is a piece of software that can do things, has methods attached to it. So Reza, what is the difference between methods and functions? Let me tell you. If you create one object and say dot, and some of the stuff could just define like to lower, to upper, and those kind of things, they are methods. And we have tons of built-in methods. Again, if the object is in the center and you say dot, then it's going to be no doubt method. If we have top level thing, we rarely have, then there are functions. Guys, I use them interchangeably. Feel free to do so. But if anyone asks you in any interview, always say method mostly used when we deal with objects. Okay. It is created by new operator from a template class. Guys, what is this thingy when we say we create new? Anyone remembers?
Allocating memory.
Excellent, lovely. If you say that, you passed that question safely. Whenever you say new and you use, and that is why whatever the class is, let me just get back here. This is a pseudocode. Imagine that the class is, I'm saying my class, class one equal to new. Then you're going to say my class, then things like that. Guys, ask people who passed object-oriented, saying that why on the left side you say my class, there is no parentheses here, but on the right side, why you have parentheses? And just see what they are saying. Guys, even before you started the course, you know now the answer. Whenever you say on the left side, my class, that's the class name. But when on the right side, you say my class, this is a constructor that has parentheses. The right side, which has parentheses, which you could possibly pass, some parameters, that's constructor. And as Alex correctly said, when you say new, means that allocate memory for me for this default constructor or the constructor that I'm going to use. Does that make sense? Okay, let's get back to what we left, where we left. Sorry. C# comes with ton of templates, random date, time, and so on. Each of the object is created from these templates, has its own set of methods. Okay. Some objects even have data values attached to them. And we are gonna specifically use random for the sake of this part of the course. But before anything, guys, I want all of you to participate in this practice. 1 or 2 digits, like for instance, 3 or 27, whatever. Type your favorite number. Alex 17, Maria 3, Joseph 7. Okay, 15, 8, 20. Excellent. Okay, there are tons of numbers. But if somebody asks you that, hey, why you have chosen 13, for example, why you have chosen 7, for example, you have something to tell. Means that, you know what, it happened to me that yeah, so it's exactly like you had some good memories about that number. And that could be, for instance, your birthday or the month number or anything, right? Because most things in the world comes in threes. I thought before that. Okay. The thing is actually, yeah, I'm saying that for everybody. For instance, some rationals behind it. For instance, some people say that rectangle is the complete shape, or some people. Anyway, so because of anything, you pick numbers. But how about poor computer? The computer doesn't have birth date, doesn't have any experience maybe to go to roulette table or any of those experiences. So how could computer generate any random thing? Any idea? Lovely. One of our, definitely they use binaries. That's absolutely right, Alex. One step ahead. Another team members in a private message said, how about time? Yes, correct. So because I don't have any, at least we are talking about till this very moment, I don't have any much feeling about the things that are happening around me. And I have a point when I'm saying that till this moment, because what is the meaning of feeling except of a kind of connection of our neurons attached to an incident? So what if we can just mimic that for computers? But till this moment, we don't have such a thing, at least to the best of my knowledge. So computer is going to grab a time CPU clock, the MAC, which is the unique address of the MAC address that they have, and combine them, put them into Vitamix, press the button, just have all those changes, and then bring one number as a result, and that is going to be random. And that random number normally is between 0 to 1. And if you want to say, how about between 0 to 100, or how about between 50 to 75, no problem. You're going to start from that seed between 0 to 1. Multiplied by 100 makes it between 0 to 100. Cut the precision, cut the decimal point. Add 50 into it, then it's going to be from 50 to 150. Does that make sense? Imagine that you want to create a kind of class simulations, and you want to scatter numbers, normal numbers. Normal means the 0 is going to be the center, between 25 to 100. And you want to see how the class would look like. You want to have a nice, neat bell curve, random, but random numbers. You're going to say the minimum 25, maximum 100. How we can build that if the rand function just brings us 0 to 1? Guys, can you please calculate that for me? I'm sorry, my math is horrible. So I want to have, imagine that we have something called RND, and RND is just responsible to create something between 0 to 1. How you can make it to work between 25 to 100? Yeah, but imagine the tool that we have is just RND, and RND generates between 0 to 1. Yeah, again, imagine that we are talking about beyond languages. Alex, that is the nice search, but I want to say we have RAND, RND, and RND between what? Between 0 to 1, right? We want to do some steps that brings us to something which is between 25 to 100. That is the question. Imagine that the only tool that you have is using RAND, RND, and RND is between 0 to. This is what we had. You remember, Michael, this is what we had only in C. We didn't have the luxury of using next and those kind of things to give range. These are the additional things. Multiply. Yeah, true. Guys, spend a few seconds. I'm gonna refill my cup and come back.
Okay, how about this? Whenever we deal with such a thing, multiply by the value. Okay, let me just give you a kind of quick thing. We are going to make it the way that the left side is going to turn to 0. How we are going to do that? We are going to say, look, we are going to say 25 minus 25. Guys, everything is clear so far? Is equal to whatever we have here minus 25, right? And this is going to be what? 75. I'm just saying, let's just show it. 0 minus 25. Does that make sense? And now the result is going to be between 0 to what? A new kind of thing. Between 0 to 75. Guys, is it clear, this thing? Instead of saying that I want that value, I'm going to say I want something between 0 to 75. And then imagine that I can just have rand, which is going to be between 0 to, very simple. I'm going to say RND multiply 75. This is going to make this side, again, 0. This side, 75, because you multiply that. Am I right? And just simply add 25 to this. So it's going to be 25 plus 0, which is 25, plus RND multiply 75. But please add, guys, this is rand, trust me, plus 25, less than equal to 75 plus 25, which is going to this one. Does that make sense? If the only tools that you have is RND, which generates things between 0 to 1, you can simply calculate and generate any number. And that is what we did before. And why I told you that useless kind of math, I wanted to tell you just one thing. The root of generating random values is still this one. It only eases the job for us and does simple calculations whenever you say that, hey, I want to have some random numbers between 5 to 10, between 0 to 100. It does just the calculations like that. Can you help me for another example? This time we want to generate, and please just say RND and write the formula. We want to have values between 5 to 10. What can we do? Oh, it doesn't let me send it to. Okay, it's not a big deal. Alex, don't worry. We are going to have some examples. Okay. Guys, what is the number that we want? What is the random numbers? What are the random numbers that we want to have? Random numbers between 5 to what? Let's say X between 5 to 10. Am I right? What we are going to do is, we are going to say this is the maximum that I have. And this is the minimum that I have. First step, say max minus min, which is going to be what? 10 minus 5. Am I right? Which is going to make it 5. Okay? Keep that. So if you say, if you deduct min from both sides, it's going to be 0 all the way to 5. And for creating that, you know that because this is going to be between, you just need to say your rand multiplied by 5 and then plus what you already had over there, +5. As another example, I want you to define values between 32 to 47. Lovely, Michael. Yes, excellent. Merci. Again, 32 to 47. What are the steps that we are going to do?
Max minus min.
Okay, which is going to be 47 minus 32, which is going to make what? 15. Am I right? Okay, look at this part. If I just say minus 32, sorry, the number that I want to generate is going to be between 0 to what? Tell me. 32 minus here is going to be between 0 to 15. Guys, everybody accept? I see that some of our team members, they are trying to guess, so I'm not going to ruin the chance. Please go ahead. If I create a random number here, this guy is between 0 to 1. So I need to say rand multiply this max value that I have to generate, because this one is between 0 to generate something between 0 to 15. Am I right? This guy is between 0 to 1. I multiply that by 15 to make it between 0 to 15. Guys, everything is clear till this moment? Yes or no? And now it's time to pay the debt that I have already fixed. That is something that a little bit some of our team members were confused. And that is why I said, now pay back that 32. So this is going to be plus 32. This is this guy. In other words, this value is max minus min. And this value is plus the mean. Is it now 100% clear for everybody? If that is the case, now I'm sorry, guys, that I take your time, but knowing that is going to help us, I want values between 180 to 140 to 180. 140 to 180. Would you please help me? Lovely, Kevin. Technically, you're going to say maximum, which is 180 minus 140, which is going to be 40 here, right? Multiply rand. And let's now pay the debt plus the mean value that we have, which is 140. Yes. You got it, right? Okay, now we see that what is happening behind the scene, and it is going to ease the job. Now we can appreciate the way that they provided a kind of extensive library for us that we shouldn't worry about those kind of things behind the scene. But if you get to any language that And actually, similar to C#, we have a good toolbox in Python. But there are some languages like C that if you want to pursue your future in academia, you need to deal with, and they don't have the complete toolbox. You need to generate them. Getting to the examples that we have here, let's start with the first one. And okay, let me just quickly again talk a little bit about this. What is an object? An object is a piece of software that can do things. It is created by new operator, the way that Alex explained, from a template class. C# comes with tons of templates. So these are the things that we have. Each of these objects that is created from the templates has its own set of methods, and we are going to see some of them about random. And what is this guy? I don't know. I can either search in this, or I can just ask, dear ChatGPT, explain the code for me. But before anything else, and what is seed? We are going to explain everything, so don't worry. Let's start from something simple. Guys, whenever I say var rand equal to a neo random, actually, I think that we can have enough time to finish now. I don't feel any stress. So how about this? Let's have a 10-minute break again, and we are going to come back to continue. Okay, this is brand new things to talk. Michael's 10-minute break.
Yeah, I can always hear. I got the earbuds in, so
Awesome.
even if I'm not away, I'm still listening. I like to
Awesome. Yeah.
stay on top of things.
Awesome. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed your 10 minutes break. My neighbor is learning too, Alex. Same. I hear blasting speakers. I hear you from anywhere. Okay, now I learned how to use random when I made a oh, wow, that's exactly what we are going to work on. But let me just actually, based on what he's saying, not to lose the joy of learning that together, I just deleted that file. This is 10 methods, scope, ref, out. This is the final thing that we just worked on. Let's go to the continuation of what we have here. Random. What do you think this guy is going to do? Look at this one. Var. I don't very much like this, honestly. When someone is lazy like me, they're going to use a var. Not very much recommended. Anyway, I'm saying that create one object based on random constructor from random class. So let's just replace that with this one and see if it still works. Yeah, apparently nothing happened. Bring it back first, see what is happening there. First time that I run the code, it is going to say, it's going to generate 5 different, starts with 244, ended with 67. And if I run it again, and if you run it, it's going to be different set of numbers. And every time it's going to generate different set of random numbers. And you might say that Reza, why it is restricted to 200. This time is even less than 100 to 250 some. And the reason for that is we say byte, and byte means numbers between 0 to 255. Does that make sense? And
is it not? Sorry, is it not 256? Why 255?
From 0 to 55. And 256 is going to be next thing, right? Yeah, exactly. Totally 256 values between 0 to 255. Yeah. And the thing is here, let's just go change this one. And instead of saying var, let's say, what's it? Byte. I want to have the byte array called bytes. And if I run that, this is going to just give me the same result, means set of numbers, but this is kind of professional compared to the, I borrowed that first. I wanted to, and the other thing that I don't like at all is this. Michael know about this. I always want to have this kind of thing. Now I can easily read it, right? So anyway, what is happening here? The object that I created, and that is rand, go and provide next byte numbers between 0 to 255 and place it into that place all the elements with those random numbers, all the elements, all 5 elements in bytes. Okay, so for each byte in bytes, for each, guys, this one can be ABC, sorry, ABC, but here we have to say ABC. I like the naming to be something relevant, but it is not a kind of reserved word. You see, it works like that. And the other thing that I don't like is using placeholder. Let's just bring it back. So these are the things that you can do and make your code better and better. Can I have your attention, please? Everyone, run the code. Run this code. You already have it. And try it. And in the code that you see in front of you now, compared to what you have, all those tiny, teeny changes happened. Like instead of saying var, we just used random. Instead of saying var again here, I said byte. Instead of using one line after for each, I used this decent form of saying the placeholder for interpolation. And as Michael said, always there are rooms for progress. We can make it even better. And in some points, you see that, for instance, that is the way that you can just recognize Joseph's code versus Michael's code and ChatGPT's code. The good thing in here that most of people here, they don't use ChatGPT. I emphasize on most because, guys, do you see these kind of comments? Mostly, whenever you ask something from ChatGPT, that's what we call it prompt. So the prompt converted to using language models, converted to something that they can understand, and they use their own prompts. And they want to say, hey, I understand what you're saying, and that is the thing. And those people, those smart people that they dump the whole question inside, they copy all the prompts that ChatGPT provided for itself and saying that, hey, did I understand it correctly? Come on. And anyway, so that is one of the things that you can simply understand that these are flags. I'm not judging based on that, just to let you know, but that is one of the things. Like when I read an email saying that I truly appreciate 100% generated by ChatGPT. ChatGPT, for some reasons, likes to use truly appreciated, truly. Truly is one of the favorite things. Just take those parts to sounds like you. Anyway, let's go to the next part. It shows that I'm very much agitated still from the session that I had. Let's go to one thing. There is one question for all of you. Guys, random based on what we... yeah, Alex. Listen to this part. Sometimes you want to generate random things. And in Canada, if you're educated, if you are studying anything in master degree and in PhD, hopefully you're gonna see that one of the crucial things that we need to publish our papers is finding data sets. And many a time you don't see, or you are not allowed to use the data sets that you get from, for instance, sick kit hospitals and so on. In Canada, there are tough regulations to use data sets. Mostly we can't. So that is why we need to create similar data sets saying that this is the maximum, this is the minimum, generate values for me. It's not going to be exactly the same as what you get from sick kids, but it is going to have similar trends. Does that make sense? So whether we want it or not, we are going to face random very much. But the point here is, imagine that you want to teach something based on random functions in a class, and you want everybody provide similar visualization. Does that make sense? Then you don't want Joseph has one set of random values, Alex, Goma, they have their own. You want to make similar random numbers, random, but they are not different from each other. Instead of saying, hey, computer, use the CPU clock, time, MAC address, and so on, and generate, I'm gonna provide that seed for a computer to provide set of similar random numbers. Does that make sense? As Michael said. So that is why, going to the next example that we have here, you see what I did actually is nothing different except that I provided a seed for that. And I want you, everybody, please try that. I'm gonna just give you the code. Here it is. You can just and see exactly the set of numbers that we are going to get, all of us, would be this. 48 all the way to 157. Yeah. That is going to happen when you want everybody receives a similar random set of numbers. Okay, so how about this? Everybody, please try this one too. And I want a brave person to step in. Nothing specific about this code. I just want to review together. This is actually what we discussed. A little bit polished version of the previous one. From friends that I didn't give a chance to them, who wants to step in and talk.
Let's hear it.
Who was saying that? Sorry.
I was just telling them to speak up.
Oh,
That's all.
you are the guru. Whenever I face any trouble, I have to reach you and say that help me. I just want to reduce the number of people that they need to show up in the exam by giving them chance to explain. That's the whole idea of.
Brother just trying to make us work for himself later.
I received your screenshot. Thank you very much. It was very clear that you sent me.
Oh, my screenshot?
Yes, thank you very much.
I sent that right away, right after you said the screenshot, and then later you said that I don't have to put my name and everything. Sorry.
Yeah, guys, I mostly do not reveal the communications with the students, but this one is amazing. Am I allowed to share your email to everybody? Okay, thank you. Guys, this is the emails of the Alex. I said that send final screenshot, and
Hold on.
I thought that it was a joke from you because I said
Oh,
so. It was not intentional.
of
So
course not. 1 second.
because I said that Alex doesn't need to be in the list, I thought that it's a joke that he said that, okay, then this is my screenshot.
Well, yeah, I don't know why wasn't there. I copy pasted the
Don't worry.
screenshot and it was there before I sent it.
Okay. Anyway, I thought that it's a joke. So actually, Alex doesn't need to be in the list, and many of the other beautiful names. How about Mohammed? Do you want to step in and explain? How about Farhina? Okay, so guys, nothing specific happened here. We just said create random numbers, but based on this time seed, and I used random instead of saying var, and the same here. Nothing is different. The only line which you might need a little bit of explanation that I provided these two lines for it. Next bytes is a method of random class that fills the provided byte array with random values. So I pass an array, and it is going to get filled thanks to this object by saying next bytes. The question is, what if I want to have double values or any others? That is why we have a ton of other examples. This time, all of us, let's try using dot next. And everybody, after running that, you are going to say what is actually happening here. If you just say, my apologies. Where is that? Rand next. it is going to create an integer random number that we see here, but is it really integer? How about if I say 2? Is it going to be any different here? So technically, you're going to see the integer numbers are between 0 all the way to 2 to the power of 32. And this is the range that we have, right? Let me just bring it back to 0 here. And I intentionally provided a ton of these things. Last night, I added more examples to make sure that we deal with all those. This is now clearer because 15 is quite enough. 15, here I say 15 character, and I want no zeros. And provides comma separated values for us every 3 digits. And there is nothing specific about this. The only thing that we need to know is we are going to provide 5 different random numbers by saying rand.next. Is it clear for everybody? Let's go to the next one together, please. And here you see I used G, and I want you to say, what is the difference between, actually, I just needed to change that into, look, just this one from N to G. What is the difference between these two? We just do not have, yes, Joseph.
I was going to say no commas.
Yes, exactly. Nothing different except just the way that you show it. Everything else is similar. Let's go to the next example. And in this example, I want you, please, Control C. I want, guys, this is your class, exactly like what Michael or Joseph or Alex, Goma, Kevin sometimes they do and explain, help me. So if you want to help me as well, please don't hesitate. What's going to be something about this? Okay, you see that here it generates something between 0 to 1. Am I right? It's a place that to put into practice what we learned together, saying that this guy, if I multiply it by 40, it is going to generate values what? Between 0 to 40. And I'm going to say, just show me the integer part. Actually, the correct way of that is rounding it. And I'm going to say round, use, hey, come on, round, and it's going to be comma, 2 math dot round comma 2. Let's see where it starts from here all the way to here. So we have var my val equal to, it's going to be out of control if I just keep doing this stuff. This Control X, Control V, saying semicolon at the end, and I'm gonna show my val here. It's getting better, but round.
There's a missing bracket.
Brab, open here, close here. Thanks a ton, but there's another thing.
No, before the multiplication sign.
Oh, that is the guy, but still there are some stuff that is missing here. Rand Just round number equal to, okay. Let's just have it as a practice. I'm gonna send that. See if you can find the pitfall sooner than me. So math.rand, it is saying that returns a random float point number.
Double and decimal.
Even if I say double, it's not going to change anything here. If I say double this one, still we have that issue. Let's just see what I'm gonna work on that part, but let's just say random, where's the guy? And multiply 40. Guys, I'm gonna just work on the round part, but for now, let's just keep it like this. So round number dot this, and then here it is, okay? And we are going to bring this val. The numbers that are gonna show is going to be between 0 to 40. Is it correct? And if I just add 140 to this, the result would be between 140 to 180. And that is exactly what we talked in the last thing that we had together. Does that make sense? Okay. So let me just bring that code to you, Control C. And meanwhile that I'm gonna ask you to do something, I'm gonna fix that round thing. Right now, I fix it by just saying 0, but I don't like it. I want to use round here, and I'm gonna fix that. But the next thing that I want to do is this one. The good thing about this code is Control. Let me just have that thingy somewhere. Okay. The good thing is Control C, bring it here, is you say the next, and that is going to generate random numbers between exactly 0 all the way to, if I just run it again, it is going to generate some 4, for instance, 946. So the random numbers are going to be exactly between 0 to 1000. But look at this one. What if I say 500, comma, and it is going to say these are the random numbers between 500 to 1000. And guess what? The same way, if I say numbers between 140 and 180, I don't need to bother. It is going to generate random numbers for you like that. Does that make sense? I'm going to give you the code here. Just make it better. And thank you, my team members. I received 2 correct answers. The question is, that is pretty much what I wrote, but what was wrong with what I wrote? I have no concern about. Well, about the comments that I received from one of our team members. Oh, sorry. Michael, yeah, Michael, I was kind to share it with everybody, or no. Anyway, so guys, you have that. About one comment that I received, that people saying, I use comment as well. Actually, I know you and I know your performance, and I'm not addressing anyone who uses nice, neat coding. I'm talking about those people that they know themselves better than me, who they are, and they just dump the questions. Definitely you're not one of them. I'm 100% sure about it. Anyway, so two of our friends helped me for this, but actually, let's say my val1 and my val1 here, and saying semicolon, and they said math that thing. My question is, what was wrong with my code? Now that is my concern, because I said that math dot round, and I opened parentheses here, and I said comma 2 here, and I closed parentheses. And guess what? Exactly the same thing happens here again. Math, open parenthesis, close parenthesis. Oh, shoot, my apologies. I just needed to have one parenthesis here. And then it's going to be fine by saying that plus thingy and done. Sorry, guys, just the replacement of the parentheses. That was my bad. And actually, I don't need these two. I could just write it simplified version like that. Okay, so just the parentheses should be here, not there. And that was my problem. My saviors in this round was Michael and Kevin. Thank you very much to send it private.
Actually,
yeah.
I just want to point out, I initially had my right-hand parenthesis in the wrong location, and Kevin posted correctly prior. So,
okay, don't worry. And what I very much like, guys, there are a few things. First, in the first session, I said that I'm learning alongside with you. I'm just try to be one day ahead of you to read the things and bring the things that I learned. That's me. I never said that I know anything, but I want to address this part, that how amazing our team members are in this class. And they said, hey, this is private message. Okay, this is what you missed. Perfect. Thank you so much. It really means a lot to me. And keep always being that amazing and professional. And I'm going to learn from you all. That's the point. Saying that, guys, this is what we wanted. Actually, we saw that a few seconds ago. If you say next, and if you say minimum number like 140, 180, it is going to do the calculations for you. You know, you don't need to bother, and just pass this and it's going to work. Guys, make sure that I send to everyone. Here it is. Just run that and try whatever you like. For instance, I told you we want to generate random numbers between what? Between, for instance, 25 to 100. Let's see what's going to happen. It's going to generate random numbers between the range that I set. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Do we have anything new here?
It's double, so decimal numbers between 0 and 1.
Exactly. It's going to be between 0 and 1. And now I'm not going to go to that game again, but imagine that I say multiply 40, 0 is going to generate numbers between 0 to 40. And if you just mention, where are you? Yeah. And if I just say, for instance, now add 180 to it, why I like that number. So 140 plus this close here, and then come on, today parentheses are not unlike what let's just get rid of this one. Okay, plus 140. Don't. Yeah. Good. And now it gives us numbers, but we realized you don't need to worry about that using the previous things that we learned together. The other thing is, yeah, I'm not gonna even bring it to the code, guys. Whenever you say rand next, it is going to be between 0 to 1. Multiply by 10 makes it between 0 to 10. Here, pretend that you didn't see the first line. Just tell me what is happening in here.
Is it between 0 and 35?
Okay, let's start from this part. What is gonna be the result of just 5 times next double? Can you say that, Joseph?
0 to 5.
0 to 5.
Oh, so 5 to 30. Okay, okay.
Ex-
Sorry, 5 to 5. Is it sorry, 5 to 35?
Exactly.
Got it, got it, got it.
So it is like okay. This part by itself, let's just review this. This part by itself is going to generate numbers between 0 all the way to 1. When you say multiply 5 means this part, it is like multiplying these two sides by 5, which is going to be 0 to 5. And then the last part, which is going to be this one, it's like adding 30 to both sides, which is going to be 5 plus this, which is going to make it between 30 to 35. Is it now clear, 100%? Okay. Let's go to the next part together. And if we just forget that, this line is a kind of help for us.
Reza, one
Now-
second. Bring up the PowerPoint, not the PowerPoint, the paint file just one more time. I just want to take a screenshot of it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Let me just do one thing, sorry. Okay, now it should be better.
Thank you.
No worries. That's a good idea. Why I don't use this idea? So I'm gonna just bring this one. And Alex, let's go to the PowerPoint of random numbers. And the place that we talked about is exactly here. And I'm gonna create a thank you.
I've been
Alex.
taking lots of screenshots of your beautiful drawings, so let me know if you want them from previous classes.
Oh, thank you very much. But this one, I think that's going to help. So now you're in the history, Alex. So let's go to the next together. Thanks for the suggestion. Where is the next thing? Okay, guys, can you please help me out saying what is the, and this time, guys, I have already decided who is going to be in the exam, who's not, I mean, one-on-one session, who's gonna be just, yeah. So please feel free, whenever you are done, just quickly tell me the main reason of, yeah, of this random. Please explain. Michael, true. Between 35 to, between 30 to 35. Previous one. For this one, it is obvious. We create one object rand that we are gonna use it here. But guys, did we initialize the array here, or we just defined and not initialize the values?
Yeah, we just gave it a memory of 5.
Okay, we have 5 cells, 5 array elements, but there is nothing inside them. And what is happening in here? Can you please tell me?
This is the initialization of it. So
Excellent. We go to I, which the first time it is 0 means the first cell, and we pick a random number between 10 to 20. We place it there. We go to the next, go to the next, go to the next. Does that make sense? And then we are going to just show what they have picked. And we expect to have numbers between 10 to 20, which is correct. Going forward, and the next one is, it is saying that new version without class kind of thing. Yeah, top level statement. I just said if somebody wants to just try the same thing without class main sort of stuff. Okay, what is happening in here?
So it's the same thing, except now we're doing numbers between 10 and 50. Wait, and divided by 3 though.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, numbers between 10 to 50, but then we are going to divide it. So what could be the things that we expect to show? It should be something between 3.3 all the way to something like 16, 17, 16 point something. That is the range, because 15 multiply 3 is going to be 45. You see that here are the numbers that we have. As I said, it's going to start from 3 point something all the way to 16. We had that. Great. How about this one? And this is a simplified, well, look at this one. I like this example because of saying here, if I say choose a random between A to Z and convert it to character, look what's going to happen. It is going to give us random things, T, T, L, B, X, for instance. Guys, what if I say 100 here? Is it going to, I'm going to give you the code. It's YD something. I'm going to just do it again. YD something. And intentionally, I'm going to give the code, exactly this code, to all of you. Please try. And I have a point.
Same output as you.
Excellent. The same output as mine. And now this is going to give us YDQWI and the same, but I changed A to 65 and Z to 90, which if we are interested, I should bring the other keyboard that I have. I never forgive the person who suggested me spend time on mechanical keyboard. I never use it, except these kind of situations. Okay, so look, Alt, I say 65, Alt 65A, and if I say Alt 90Z, does that make sense? It does exactly the same thing. I just replace them with numbers, but what happens, even if you say A, and even if you say Z, what actually happens, it's going to change those things, please, those things into ASCII code, which is 6590, and then start working on it. Whatever you generate is going to be between those numbers. Yes, exactly, Michael. And then we are going to convert those numbers, which are between 65 to 90, to a character version of it. Huh? Okay, doke. Let's go to the next example together. These are borrowed from the slides that Narendra was kind to provide for us. Let's see what is happening. They are piece of cake, guys, for you now. Spend a few seconds.
Why your curly's got that little tick in front of them on names and pets?
That kind of thingy. There.
It's just got that little on like your pets array. Just the very first, the left-handed bracket there. It's got a little
thingy over there.
Like little, yeah, it's got a little thingy under it. Yeah.
After installing Q developer from Amazon, some peculiar things happened to Peter. One of them was this. The blame is on me installing that. Yeah. Okay, so let me just quickly go through this for you. It is saying that the string array that has all those values. So how many elements do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So whenever I say I want to get a name, random next, it is going to be 9. So the number is going to be between 0 to 8. This guy generates numbers between 0 to 8, not 9 included. And then I use that. So Joseph, pick a number between 0 to 9, not including 9.
7.
7. So it's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Couldn't you say something smaller? So it goes
3.
3 next time. So it's going to say Dave and picks that because the name's 7 is going to be Dave. And for instance, for pet, we are going to say 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be parrot. And we are going to just pick a random age between 5 to 10 and see what is going to happen here. The first one, Dave, actually you're right, is my 0, 1, 2. That is funny. Both things that you guessed.
What are the odds?
Oh yeah, that's your day.
That's
Let's
great.
pick another one. Jack is my parrot, and 5 months. Oh, that's month, not year. Month old. Does that make sense, everybody? Awesome. Let's go to the next example together. And I want you, please, to spend just 1 minute, and it is not different from what we learned a few seconds ago together. But I want one of the brave people in the class. Okay, just one quick question. Everybody, could you relate to this part? This is pretty similar to what we learned a few seconds ago, right? To pick one random number, random name among names here, random pets among pets here by saying that pick an index between 0 to the length and pick one random month. Just we do it, for instance, here, we do it how many times? 5 times, because that's the length of the result array that we have. So generate 5 different things and just show the result. Look what's going to be the result. It's like 5 different values, the way that you see here. Does that make sense? So let's go to the next one. And this one, if you see, I have mentioned rock, scissors, paper. And very simple, exactly the same as what we learned here, even simpler, because just we have rock, scissors, paper game array that contains 3 elements. We are going to say, hey, computer choice is going to randomly pick one from that. Is it clear? And then we are going to ask the user, hey, what would be your choice? So that's going to be my choice. And then we are going to show the computer's hand after that. Look at this one. I'm going to say my choice is Caesar, and I'm going to say Caesar. And actually, computer's choice is Caesar too, so it is tie. Okay, guys, is it hard to okay, good. I wish, and actually that was last time things, and this is incomplete version, but it's another version of what we already saw. Let's see. Actually, another version means that I just took those thingies out. Where is the, yeah, here I said my choice. Where's the computer choice? Did I copy it? Oh, something is missing here. My bad. I didn't use random, but The challenge is, I'm gonna just get rid of that part, but the challenge is this. It is good too. The challenge is this one. Look, that's the full version, Alex. I'm gonna bring it. I don't know if I destroy something from last night that I changed the file, but let's just get rid of that. Okay, so quickly, I just explained this to you. Look what is happening. I'm saying that I have a rock, scissor, paper game array, and then computer choice is gonna picking randomly one element from there. And then this is what I get from the user. And now here it is. If what I say is not among the list, right? Then I'm gonna say index -1. And then I say that invalid choice, you have to choose between these three, just to make it robust. And then look at this one. I have something determine winner. If the choice that I have is equal to the choice that computer has, I always say that it's draw, it's tie. If I choose rock and computer chooses scissor, if I choose scissor, here I'm saying or if I choose scissor, computer chooses paper, or if I choose paper, computer chooses rock, then I'm gonna be the winner, right? Say you win, else computer wins. There is no other possibility. Does that make sense? Okay, let's just play. Goma, give me one option. Which one do you like to pick? I cannot hear you.
Rock.
Rock. Okay. Did I tell you that this is, if you win, you don't need to be in one-on-one. Computer wins. Sorry, Goma. I'm joking. You're not in the list. So anyway, so let's go to the next example together. So here is guess a number. And I have one quick thing. Imagine that I want to guess a number between 1 to 10. And this is another incomplete game. So for instance, guess a number, I'm gonna say 4, and it is saying 8. What you can do is, and just remember that part, most people, whenever they want to make a guess, they repeatedly bring the choice in the loop. You should ask computer to guess once and put it outside the loop, and then start the game saying, okay, the number that you have chosen is greater than, the number that you have chosen is less than. The problem of most of my friends when they try it for the first time is bringing this computer's choice within a loop. Every time that you pick any number, it generates another random number. And they try to do it again and again and again. Does that make sense? Okay, I did the same thing in the next example, saying that whatchamacallit, here, Control A, Control V. Choose a number, choose a character between A to Z. I'm gonna say H, for example. It says V, so you can play the same game, say the character is greater than or towards the end, and you correct yourself till you guess the correct thing. Apart from that, actually, I checked the time. I wanted to finish not earlier, but on time today. That is why I didn't leave that rock, scissor, paper game to be completed by us in the class. But there is one thing that I very much liked to practice during the session. Unfortunately, we didn't have time. I remember it was the previous time that I was teaching this, and I couldn't get to bed. I couldn't sleep. So I said, you know what? So just let's use time. And this is something that I created. Oh, this is not the one. I'm sorry. Oh, I said fun kind of thing. Oh, here it is. It's fun. Look at this one, guys. Just when somebody gives you something like this, if I give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Very simple. You are going to make nested loops. One loop is responsible, the inner loop is responsible to create 10 asterisks. The outer loop is responsible to create the whole blocks, right? So it's going to be 10, 10, right? This is the code. I'm going to give you this. Can you please try that?
The same as a matrix question on the assignment, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, with some more rows and columns or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. And I have a point, actually. Some people thought it is very much complicated, but I want to tell something to a little bit ease the job for us. And honestly, let me confess, I started, playing around that night, saying that, okay, here I said I from 1 to, for instance, 10, this part, and this part, J, from 1 to 10. What if I say J is, what do we call it? Less than I. So what's gonna, first, let's just see the original version. It's just going to create this. But what if I say, instead of all the way to, let's say all the way to I, what's gonna happen? Let's see. Wow, it is going to create something like this. And why so? Because the first time J is 1 when it goes to here. I is 1, J is 1. So it's going to be J equal to 1 as long as J is less than or equal 1. So it's going to just run this one time. Does that make sense? Huh? And the same thing happens for the next, for the next, for the next, for the next. But people who want to tease, they're going to say, you know what? Let's just make, okay, let me just tell you one thing. How about this? I'm going to create K, and I'm going to say, what do we call it? As long as K is less than, yes, it already guessed what, and minus I, just create space, one space, and K plus plus. Let's see what's going to happen. So it starts from what? 1, 10 minus 1. Let's see randomly what's going to happen. So technically, for the first line, it generates 9 spaces. Next time, it's going to create 8 spaces. Then, guys, this is as simple as that. So whenever you can't get to bed, just play around with these things, and you're going to find something interesting. If you want to have a hollow, what do we call it? A square. What do you need to worry about? The first line and the last line. So if I is equal to 1, or if I is equal to n, then have a complete row of stars. Else, just have one star here, number of n spaces between, and the last star. You know what I'm saying? This is definitely, they're not going to ask you in future to use these kind of things. The real thing behind all of these things is make our brain kind of find nice way to play around with these puzzles. Look at it as kind of puzzle. So this is going to be the code for this. We already talked about it, J. For creating those spaces, we already talked about it. So you see that K1, as long as it is n minus I kind of thing. And then how about the other way around, right? So you can see just topsy-turvy version. Just look at those. I'm going to share, and this is the hollow. And I think that after that, I could get to bed and sleep so that the problems are finished here. You can see ton of things. I saw 1, 1, 2, 1, 1. That's Isaac Newton kind of numbers. They follow the same principles. Okay. By saying that, still we have a few minutes. I might not have the chance to say a proper goodbye and talk to you, because next week we are going to have exam. All of us are gonna have stress, no matter how easy it is for you, but that's the name of exam. I need to extend my appreciation towards all of you, whether you opened your camera or not, but you were persevering. You came to all the sessions or majority of the sessions. Eskim, Pooja, Adewale, after the test one, Mang, Muznam, Toby, Farhina, Maria, Sean, of course, Kevin, Goma, Alex, Joseph, and definitely Michael. Kudos to all of you who worked very hard in this semester. Considering the overall things that we had together, that was one of the best classes that I could have, and I appreciate. Now we have another new member. Hello.
This is little Lori. Her hair's a mess right now. Sorry.
How are you, Lori? Okay, so I very much appreciate, and the reality, those who, I'm sure that it's not for this group of people that we talk, but in general, I remember the time that I wanted to pass a course or something, and I had that kind of, I have to, it's a kind of combination of all the pressures that society imposed us to get the best result, always A plus and nothing else. I wish somebody told me that, hey, Reza, just enjoy what you're doing. That really matters. This semester, if I need to, I just put that course aside. It's not a big deal, honestly. We all deal with lots of things in our lives, and please do not compare yourself with anyone, even yourself 6 months ago. Just see how far we could get from day one that we started. I'm sure that you're gonna continue this approach and you're gonna get all the possible success in your life. And on top of them, I wish you all to be happy. That's pretty much what I want to end up our sessions with. If there is any concern, any question, anything, please let me know. Otherwise, I wish you the best. Have a wonderful one. And I'm going to announce everything in details. Okay?
Perfect. Thank you, Reza. It was a pleasure.
Pleasure is all mine.
Thank you
Yes,
very much.
Kevin.
Thank you so much, Reza.
My pleasure,
Learned
Goma.
a lot from you.
Oh, please. My pleasure. Hey, Kevin, you want to say something?
No, I was just copying everybody's sentiment. This was a very informative class. Like, to go back from scratch and still be able to stay engaged, that's kudos to the professor. That's not just kudos to knowledge. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your kind words. It means a lot to me. Michael, Alex, Goma, Kevin, Sean, Joseph, Pooja, Bang, everyone. Have a wonderful one and see you soon. Take care. Ciao.
Take care, everyone. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you so much, Professor. This is my favorite class in this semester.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful
Thank you.